Welcome back to Homeopathy at Home with Melissa. Hey, Melissa.
Hey Bree, I'm excited to talk about fall remedies today.
Yeah, this has become kind of a tradition, if you want to say that, now the past few years, going into
Yeah.
the school year, starting the fall. So we're going to be covering hopefully a lot of things that you guys will deal with. Maybe some repeated things, but hopefully some new stuff.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start?
Yeah, I really I want to help you guys get ready for yeah, like you said, the change of the season. I know that around here, and I think a lot of different parts of the country, allergies, hay fever start
Mhm.
to ramp up in the fall. So, my favorite allergy remedies are, of course, my combo that I made up years ago that served me so well. And I saw that it was serving so many other people so well. So, I started really spreading the news about that. And that's Calimyr, Apis, and Allium Cepa. And so you could do 30 or 200. I usually do 200. Um,
Mhm.
Mix them all together, in liquid or take them each separate. And you can use those as needed for the symptoms of itchy nose, itchy throat, itchy eyes, itchy ears, um, watery eyes, sneezing. I think that was it. There was a
So
lot of sneezing.
when you say in liquid, what do you mean? And why would you use it in liquid versus just dry?
So if you were to buy a major name brand remedy and you bought all three of those separately, then you would be taking 9 pills into your mouth every time you wanted to take a dose. You can certainly do that. That's just a lot. So that can end up costing a lot of money
Mhm.
and your bottles won't last as long. So, if you buy, there are certain brands, especially those that come from the UK, where 1 pill is a dose. So that's totally doable, right?
Mhm.
But if you have one of the major name brands that you can buy in any store, then you would put 1 dose of each of those three remedies into purified water, let it dissolve, and then you can keep that in the refrigerator and you can take about a half a teaspoon or a teaspoon as a dose. And that can stretch it, it can make it last longer. It works just as well. If you want to top it off with alcohol, you can do that. The instructions on how to do this are on my YouTube channel. And it's called something like water
I think it's
liquid.
just your water dosing video. I think it just
Mhm.
says water dosing. Yeah.
Water, yeah. So it's there's two of them. There's two different videos. One is from like 2019, I think, and then I did another one just recently that was more updated. So that's what I mean by in liquid.
And so with a family, let's say multiple people in that family have allergies, you would probably do a water dose would save you a lot of money and a lot of time, right? Or if you have to send your kids to school, that's a good way to do that. Give them a little water bottle. It should be refrigerated usually, but I think it's fine to take to school, shake it up before they take a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Um, Now what about frequency? Could you do that fairly frequent as well? And then how would you back off?
Yeah, you sure can. So I usually tell people to take it up to 6 times in one day. And so it could just be if you're having a big fat allergy attack and you're totally miserable, then take it every 15 to 30 minutes. Don't be afraid to take it often. So I that's what I see. People will take a dose and then they say this doesn't work. Take it again and
Hmm.
take it again and take it again. So after about the fourth or fifth dose in one day, if nothing has changed, nothing has let up, you're feeling no better, then yeah, you might need to change remedies. Mhm.
And then the hope would be probably that over time you're not needing it 7 times a day. You're needing it twice a day or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say somebody always gets allergies. They know it's coming. Would this be a scenario where you could do that twice a day prior to being super symptomatic?
I never used to tell people to do that, but I had clients who just did that on their own
Mhm.
and it worked beautifully for them. So sure. Yeah, you could do it
Yeah.
twice a day starting now if you haven't started already, and then work your way, through the fall, hopefully with minimal symptoms or no symptoms. But backing up to what you said before that question, that's exactly what should happen is that you should have less severe, shorter in duration, less frequent episodes over time. And that combination is what actually uprooted my allergies. It took 18 months. I had allergies for 30 something years. 18 months of just taking it as needed when symptoms popped up and they were gone. So
Yeah. Amazing.
the now I would say I didn't do this back then, but now I would say take calc carb 30C once per day.
Hmm.
In addition, that's going to be chronic uprooting the allergies, but then use my protocol or my combo as needed.
Yeah. Yep. I've seen that work really well for so many people.
Yeah.
And it will even be where they're the only person using it in the household, almost as like the guinea pig, and be
Hmm.
the only one who's not suffering through the
Yep.
season like everyone
I've
else.
Yep, I've
Now,
seen.
let's say you have allergies that always turn into sinus infections. I know we've covered some of that in prior podcasts as well, but what are some just quick, a few remedies? Let's say if you tend to get a lot more sinus infections, maybe even combinations that you like.
I love Sanguinaria 200 mixed with Calibic 6C. So
Hmm.
that's I think I made that up. That's just something I've been doing lately that's working really well.
Yeah,
The Banerjee protocol is Sanguinaria mixed with belladonna, but you can leave the belladonna out if there's no pain. Calibic is number one for sinus infections, and I love Sanguinaria, so I've just started to combine the two and
yeah,
use it
I
that
do.
twice per day. Also, if my combination doesn't help or doesn't help enough, your eye symptoms. So if your eyes are super itchy and everything else is calming down, but your eyes are still really itchy, you can add euphrasia to that mixture. So then you have a mix of 4
Okay.
remedies. Mhm.
Yeah. Um, okay, so that's good for allergy. I feel like that's pretty good. That's a good
Yeah.
starting place without having like a big picture. Is there anything else for allergies that comes to mind for you?
Yes. Well, I was going to talk about the eye drops and how wonderful they are, but they're off the market right now. So darn.
I know, I hope they come back. That was a really good find for not just allergies, but like pink eye.
Mhm.
You know, I've used them just for irritated eyes, but
Mhm.
currently we can't get them anywhere.
Right.
So,
But they might come back.
yeah,
And
maybe
I'm
they will.
not saying that I've heard anything. You never know, right?
Right. Well, yeah. Sometimes they just redo them or they have to legally go through stuff before they can come out with a new product. So fingers
Yeah,
crossed, please come back.
yeah.
But
So we're going to teach my hay fever course live on October 1st, 2024. So if you're listening to this after that, you can go and purchase the recording. If you're listening to this before October 1st, 2024, then join
why not?
us. Yeah, go to my website. You can ask you'll be live. You can ask questions, for your own personal help and learn. I think it's 26 remedies that we're going to teach. So yeah, that's coming up. Um, what else happens in the fall that we need to talk about?
So, I mean, just in general, let's say we're going back to school for a lot of people, whether even going to school or not, there's changes. So I think of things like maybe kids that tend to get anxiety, get nervous, and there are I think a few things we could suggest for that.
Yeah, yeah. Anticipatory anxiety.
Hmm.
You could start, is it Gelsemium? Gelsemium, yeah, 30C twice per day and Califos 6C twice per day. So I combine those. So Gelsemium 30 and Califos 6C twice per day as soon as your children start getting nervous. So, if you're listening to this before they start school, then and they're already nervous about, asking a lot of questions. Sometimes it can be hard to recognize anxiety in young children,
Hmm.
but you can recognize it. Sometimes it's just a lot of questions, and
Hmm.
that can kind of point to a little bit of anxiety. So anyway, or if they can articulate it and they say, I'm nervous, I'm scared, I'm worried, then that's a great protocol to use for anticipatory anxiety.
Now,
Um,
what if you notice you have a child who has that anxiety but gets a stomach ache? Would you treat it acutely, sort of like a stomach ache, or would you do the anticipatory anxiety protocol instead, or both?
That's a great question. I probably, if they're anticipating going to school or whatever, then I would be doing that protocol. And if they get a stomach ache, say maybe
Hmm.
the morning of, so they've been worried, but now it's the morning of, and they're like, my stomach hurts, I can't go. Nux vomica. I would do
Okay.
Nux vomica 30C.
So you kind of treat both, treat the presenting symptom, but also the etiology.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. That is
Hmm.
good. Sometimes it's headaches, so maybe the same thing, just different remedy. Or if they can't sleep well, like can't settle well to fall asleep.
Yeah.
Um, but I would be curious to know if they just start with Gelsemium and Caliphos,
Mhm.
maybe that will cover all the things. Like if the nervousness is causing that, you could just start with the protocol and see what happens. Like give yourself a little time.
Right. Yeah. Maybe nothing
Um,
else.
okay. What else? Okay, I know sports start. People start sports. They're probably already starting if you're in high school.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
They
maybe we
start.
could injuries or, things like that.
Yeah, sports injuries, arnica, number one.
Hmm.
Um, any kind of any kind of injury during sports. I think arnica would be a great first choice. Bellus perennis is the injury to the trunk of the body. Um, you know, arnica and or aconite is the head injury. If you get hit in the nose and get a nosebleed, that's arnica.
Hmm.
What else?
What about sprained ankles?
Mm. Ruta 6C. I like to start with 6C.
Hmm.
And Roostox can also be for ankles, but I think Ruta would be first. I also really like some vitamin calc phos.
Hmm.
That's good for bone pain, but also bone injuries and and it helps strengthen the bones.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, Now you don't want to take that if your bone is just broken, right? Until it's set and ready to heal,
That's
if there's a
Yep.
break.
Yep.
Okay, what about
Yeah.
heat exhaustion? What if they're at practice?
Ooh, yeah.
They're just so hot.
Yeah, aconite, belladonna, glonoinum. My personal favorite is carboveg. Just in
Mhm.
the last 2 years, I've not been able to handle the heat like I used to, and I've had to use carboveg. It was amazing. And that was that shortness of breath, I just really
Yeah.
I couldn't take a nice deep breath, or I felt like I couldn't breathe well. And so Carboveg was the one for me. Belladonna helped me when I had the heat exhaustion, or I got overheated and I got a headache. So my face
Mhm.
was really red and I got a headache, and Belladonna was the one that helped me in that instance.
Okay, okay, so that's sports. Does anything else come to mind for you for sports? Because I don't want to move on too soon, but I have another idea.
Dehydration.
Oh yeah.
So, uh, um, so if you are sweating a lot and you're feeling weak because you're losing those fluids, then cinchona bark, China, 6C is
Hmm.
great, and bioplasma in the water bottle. So parents just put some bioplasma in your children's water bottle that they're using, on the field, and electrolytes. They need electrolytes. And no, I'm not talking about Gatorade and or whatever else. There's a lot of yucky electrolyte drinks out there. A
There
lot.
are, yeah.
So I am talking I've been really struggling lately with a healthy natural electrolyte. It's almost like you have to make it at home if you want it to be.
Right. There are some better options. And so, I think just like anything else, choose the best that's available to you. And it's going to be okay, especially if your kids are bigger kids. I mean, there's always gonna, if you can't make it at home,
Yeah.
do what you can do.
And yeah, and it's a pain to make. I mean, you're talking about coconut water, a little bit of orange juice,
Right.
salt, you know.
And
Um,
listen, I made it. It doesn't taste terrible. It's not terrible, but I don't know that my 12-year-old, if I had one, I don't, but if I did, I don't think he'd drink it. And I don't know many teenagers who would want to drink that.
right. Yep, I know. So yeah, exactly. Do the best you can, find the one that works.
Yeah.
Find the best one that you can do that your kids will also drink. So electrolytes are super important.
Yeah. Um, okay. I was just thinking, you're going back to school. If they're eating lunch at schools, not used to that, maybe. I don't know what kind of food a lot of schools have anymore. But when
Yeah,
I was in school, or a lot of the schools, it's not great food. So
right.
maybe just like gut disruption, maybe something you could send to school with your kid, or obviously I think Nux vomica,
Yep.
if
Nux
they have
vomica.
stomach trouble.
Yeah. Um, pulsatilla is coming up in my mind as something that's specific to junkier food that you're not used to.
Like fatty,
Yeah, but
not good
junk. Yeah.
junk. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Nux vomica could probably be my number one. If they get bloated, then like a podium. If they get a stomach ache or feel nauseous, then Nux. If they get constipated, then Nux.
Diarrhea, arsenicum album.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Um, okay. So more, I mean, not that older kids don't get sick, but I mean, we're talking like little kids going to school for the first time, or preschool or daycare, whatever. Everybody getting sick.
Yep.
What would
So
you?
yeah, to help prevent illness, um, thuja, thuja, some people say thuja or thuja, 30C can help strengthen your immune system, increase your immune system to help keep you healthy. And I would do that once or twice per day for a few weeks before you go back to school.
Okay.
And um and electrolytes, again, if you start to feel sick or just really daily electrolytes are really going to be important
Yeah.
to help keep you healthy.
Yeah. Okay. So I had one other thing in mind. What about, when they go to school, if they're using screens a lot, or if they're just so worn out, right? Like not used to using their brains maybe that much
Yeah.
after having the summer off.
Mm.
Some mental fatigue can happen.
Mental fatigue. Isn't that Callie Foss?
Yeah, I think so. Callie Foss
Yeah.
is one
Oh,
that came to mind for that.
what else?
I know there is one, like Calimyr and something.
Or
Okay.
Ferrum Foss. Mental exhaustion. Interesting.
Okay. I feel like I remember there being a combo in one of our courses for overuse, and it was cell salt combination.
Cell salt. So probably Callie Foss. For some reason I'm thinking Callie Foss and Ferrum Foss.
Yeah. Um, and again, that's a good place for potentially just using bioplasma.
Yep.
Don't
Yep.
you think
Mhm.
sometimes?
Yep. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Um,
Ferrum Foss, Cali Foss.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
Hey. Okay.
Yeah. So those are great for that mental exhaustion.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's all. I mean, that's all I've had on my list that I've been thinking about. Do you have anything else?
So we did hay fever, um, sports, try to help keep you healthy from getting sick, and then yeah, anxiety. Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, those are some great. What else happens in the fall though, outside of going back to school? Are there any like extra bug things?
Well, I think a lot of people might be spending more time outside again if you're in a southern state like I am. Fall, winter,
Mm.
some of our we're outside more.
Yep.
So you can listen to our we did that podcast episode on ticks. I would definitely listen to that
Yep.
if that's something you have to worry about.
Hmm.
Um, what else happens in the fall? There's holidays. We have our holiday one. We've done a lot of
Yeah.
yeah, those holidays and managing all that
Yeah. Yeah. Go
stuff.
back and listen to Holiday Humility.
Yeah,
That's one.
that was a fun one.
You know what would be great if you want to comment on this, wherever you're watching this or listening to this, if you want to make a comment, and if there's something that we're missing, if there's something that you're like, you know what, this thing
Yeah.
always happens every fall, I'll be happy to try to give you some ideas. We will teach the viruses course, like I said, in November, so look out for that. So that's a big course to help you stay healthy
Mhm.
and help you address any viral symptoms like COVID or flu, colds, coughs, all those things.
Yeah. I would also just want to throw in there, suggest if you have any skin conditions that typically get worse in the winter,
I was thinking about that. Yes.
we will probably do some kind of podcast about some more winter stuff later, but strongly encourage you to move in whatever direction you need to. Schedule a consult with a homeopath for a um, chronic consultation, chronic plan. Take a class if you want to learn how to manage it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
But really, now is the time to start getting on something to prepare yourself for winter. There's still time. You have a few months left, and it
Mm-hmm.
could be really a huge change. So that was just something that came to mind.
Yes, thank you. I actually had thought of that earlier and then forgot. So thank you for saying it.
Yeah.
And I have to say actually that Bree is our eczema expert. So if you have a child or even an adult, right? You help adults too.
Yeah.
Anybody with eczema, she has gained so much wisdom and knowledge through experience over the past, what, 1 to 2 years?
Couple of years. Yeah. Coming up on, actually, it's been 2 years now.
Okay. Yep.
Over 2 years. Yeah.
Eczema. So every time somebody calls me with eczema, I say, you got to see Bree.
Yeah. We have found some good tips and tricks, stuff I've learned from Melissa, and then stuff that just learned from lots of people, lots of success stories. It's really sweet, so life-giving. But now is the time. That did make me think of it. A lot of you, you have little ones who a lot of times eczema does get worse in the winter.
Yeah.
So now is the time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening to Fall Remedies. And if you think of anything else you need help with, just let us know in the comments and we'll see you next time.
Bye.